everybody. We are here with our first interview from the HackAtom 6 today, and we are so lucky that we are going to start with our friends for Forbull and Desmos, which is Leonardo. Please, Leonardo, introduce yourself.
Of course. Hi everyone, I'm Leonardo. I'm one of the software engineers behind Desmos, and I also work for Forbull as well. Forbull was the first contributor of Desmos, and since like 2 years we are working together to bring this project live. We launched our mainnet in 2 months ago, and now we are building it. We are shipping a lot of modules, a lot of stuff in it. We presented it in the last Cosmosverse event, and we are very happy to be here also at the HackAtom.
That's great. Now that you mentioned that you just had an amazing and really view presentation at Cosmoverse, please tell us a little bit better about what is the future of Desmos and what is your role in the future of Desmos from now and in the next months.
So my role in the future of Desmos will be taking care of the smart contract side of it. So the implementation of different smart contracts that all the developers will use in order to build their tokenomics for their social networks. So Desmos will be like the base for their social networks, and they will build their own tokenomics with their own term of services, their own rules, and everything that they will need to do in order to make the apps like they want.
Thank you so much. Another question I would like to ask you, as how we are at the HackAtom 6 right now, which is the biggest of Cosmos ever. I would like to understand from you if you are, you like any of the challenges were presented, or if you would like to see something different, something that is not listed yet, but you would like the hackers to build for.
Well, personally, I'm really interested in the gaming challenge as well, since I'm a gamer. But I'm really interested in see what the hackers are going to build as the smart contract side of the hackathon. So with the Juno challenge, I guess. And also, I'm going to look forward to see what they're going to build in the region challenge, for the region challenge. Personally, I didn't have enough time to really participate in this hackathon, but I will try to do something and to maybe help everyone with the smart contracts if I can, in the channels, in Discord, and in everything.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Daniela.
And let's see you soon on Discord, like on Discord.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so we are here with our second guest at HackAtom 6 in Lisbon. We are here for Andrea Dimi from Juno and Steakfish. Andrea, please introduce yourself and just a little bit overview of what you are doing right now.
Thank you, Daniela. So yes, I am a full stack developer at Steakfish and also a core contributor at Juno. And Steakfish was one of the first contributors as a validator in the Cosmos Hub and the Cosmos ecosystem in general. And we run validator services on like 20 different blockchains, or probably more. And Juno instead is a smart contract platform that recently launched, actually on October 1st. And it's totally driven by the community. And yes, I'm very excited to be here.
As team sponsor of the HackAtom 6, what do you expect your hackers building for your category? Do you have something in your mind? Do you want to give them some suggestion to achieve better results?
Yes, so Grandfish and Juno joined forces together to sponsor this Hackathon 6, and the challenge that we chose is the Heart Challenge. And yes, I would like to see some very interesting projects that maybe will work to reduce the carbon emissions of the cryptocurrencies in general, because we really care about it, and also our sister company that is F2 Pool, it's really into it, and yes, so if let's find out some cool ideas about this.
About you, if what was you were in the place to choose your favorite challenge of the hackathon, which kind of challenge would you have joined, and which kind of project will you have time to build for the hackathon 6?
I think I will take a look at the Bitsong challenge. They are looking for someone to build an NFT marketplace for the Bitsong NFTs because I really love music and their project is very interesting, and their way to use the NFTs in conjunction with the music, I think it's really interesting. Um, and it opens for a lot of possibility for both artists and normal users, so I will definitely check it out.
So thank you so much for your time and to be here with us in Lisbon, and see you soon. Hi everyone, we are here again with Tobias from Tendermint. And Tobias, please explain us what is your role inside Tendermint, what you are doing right now for Cosmos, and what are your short and long-term goals right now.
Thanks, Daniela, for having me. So great to be here. Today we are kicking off HackAtom 6, and I am part of the EcoDev team. So this is ecosystem development. And what we're doing, we're sitting in border space between product, engineering, marketing, and developer experience. And our role is actually to help hackers get started with the Cosmos SDK. And we are providing tutorials. So we've been working a lot with Starport, because that's the way to access and build new blockchains, new modules. So as you probably know, the Cosmos SDK is there to build blockchains. And we have this modular system where you can build your own blockchain and decide which modules you want to have for your blockchain. So we are looking for people that actually build those modules to create more creative blockchains, to make all the possible blockchains in the ecosystem. So we have already so many different modules. We have officially supported modules that do kind of the base work that a blockchain needs to do, from sending tokens, from staking on a blockchain, from security, obviously, authentication for accounts, managing accounts. But then we have a huge ecosystem. So you've heard of DeFi projects, of DEXs, and these are all modules that are being developed in the ecosystem that anyone can use in their blockchain, in their product. So you could actually go and check out various repositories in the ecosystem and get inspired by the modules that are already written, or just take them for your product and build a new one. Be creative on this. And so what we are doing at EcoDev is we are also creating proof of concepts, and we want to help developers kind of understand how to develop these modules. So we are creating more simple proof of concepts, so people understand the concepts at first, how to use it code-wise, and then can take it from there. They can either take like our proof of concepts and build on top of that, or just understand how it works with those. We're helping with documentation on various sites. So we want the projects to have great documentation that developers can come in, understand what every project is about, especially kind of our core products, which are Tendermint, obviously. Tendermint takes care of the peer-to-peer network, of the cryptography, of accounts in general on the blockchain. It's been highly inspired by what Bitcoin and Ethereum is doing, so it's all extremely battle tested. And on top of that sits the Cosmos SDK, where we also want to have the best documentation so developers understand how to build their modules. The Cosmos SDK eventually is there to build modules on top of on top of the blockchain. So and then we are working a lot with Starport. That's the product that actually helps you scaffold a new blockchain. So you just use one command with Starport scaffold chain, and you have a base blockchain there, which is very similar to the Cosmos SDK, to the Cosmos Hub with the Atom. And from there you can create your own modules or use existing modules in the ecosystem to create a new blockchain. The newest technology is actually IBC. So IBC is also a module which allows you to create channels between various blockchains. And then there's another module called IBC Transfer, which allows you to transfer tokens. But we want to have IBC is there to transfer data in general. It's very generalistic. So we want more IBC modules that allow you to send any sort of data between blockchains. And this is mostly what we've been working on the last time. and what we hope the hackathon also to help us to get new developers into the space. We have help needed everywhere. The Cosmos ecosystem has been extremely successful over the last years, so there's lots of resources to tap into, and we want more developers to work on use cases. We have so many ideas. We want to do so many things, and we need more power behind that. So inviting all the developers out there, if you have blockchain experience, but it's not necessary, because we have the docs, like we have tutorials, we have everything for you to get started and to understand the ecosystem.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to have you here because I think that you are one of the most complete person in terms of contribution in the Cosmos ecosystem. You are a core contributor of various projects, as Juno, for example. You are building the EcoDev. You are leading the EcoDev team at Tendermint, which is the Genesis team of Cosmos. Also, you are leading with SJ1, the validator. And my question is, how Cosmos is going to change after HackAtom 6? What do you expect HackAtom 6 to change on Cosmos, in terms of growth, in contribution, in vision? What is going to change?
So in the past hackathons, we've actually seen great projects coming out of this. So a lot of those ideas that we are working on right now with interchain accounts, with interchain staking, the osmosis protocol, or so many different projects came out of recent hackathons. So we are hoping for the same this time. We are hoping for people to find solutions to problems that's been theoretical until now. We hope for new modules to be developed. We hope for new developers to join the ecosystem. And yeah, that's basically it. People that keep hacking on our software and on build a bigger ecosystem. And that's kind of the goal of it all.
So one last question. If you will have at the time, which is not the case, but if you will have at the time, and you were at the beginning of your career as hacker, of all the challenges, there is one that you will have particularly loved to work and hack on it?
Good question. So let me think about it a bit. So I think interchain accounts is actually the one that might attract me the most. But as a full stack developer, I kind of have my hands on so many things. I love working on wallets, on explorers, to get kind of the data that is hidden in front of the people. So I'd love to work also on IBC channels, on relayers, because that's where I think a huge need is right now, right? I think if I would, at the start, I either look into interchain accounts and try to build that up more so people can work with their accounts on several chains at once, or also tap into going from one blockchain into other blockchains and tap into their logic. And then, yeah, relayers is something that sits in between, right? You create channels between two blockchains, and the relayer would transmit the data from blockchain A to blockchain B, whatever it is, or also blockchain C, blockchain D, blockchain E. You might want to have multiple hops. That's all possible, but there's more work needed to make it a reality. So I think that would be the region I would personally tap into if I would start from scratch.
So thank you so much for your time. I really hope to having the possibility to meet you soon as well, and see you at the next con.
Yeah, and enjoy the hackathon. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Okay, we are here now with another interview from the HackAtom 6 in Lisbon Open Ceremony. We have Adriana Miai, so I'm sure that every one of you knows her, but it will be, in my opinion, really beautiful to have talking about what she is doing right now as Director of Community and Marketing for Cosmos. Adriana, please introduce yourself and explain us what you are doing right now.
Sure. Thank you so much, Daniela. I mean, it's amazing to be here, interviewed by another OG of Cosmos, Daniela. We are actually working together for people who don't know. So being interviewed by her is actually us showing the Cosmos community that we are here for you, and we are doing every day, whatever way possible to make sure that the community and the ecosystem is thriving and are successful. In terms of community, we have various initiatives, and for example, HackAtom 6 is one of those initiatives. For us to be able to attract developer talent and to be able to have new ideas in the Cosmos ecosystem is part of our growth. So what we want to see is fresh ideas, people coming out of college, people coming from various industries, thinking every day for this hackathon what they're able to build with Cosmos technology. Because the idea here is we need to grow as an ecosystem. So the reason of HackAtom 6 and why we have done this like a Cosmos ecosystem event is to allow everyone and every Cosmos project to grow together as an ecosystem. We have seen this with the enablement of IBC. We are over 22 chains right now, and now it's not about blockchains being siloed together as we used to be. Now it's about one ecosystem, which is Cosmos, growing together. And to be able to see all these teams working together for the growth of the Cosmos and have developers from around the world be able to participate in this event is something of a huge success. So whatever comes out of this hackathon, like ideas, teams, projects, everyone is hiring. So if you are here listening, if you are a developer, if you want to participate, almost $1.3 million in prize pool are for you, and this is only the beginning. I mean, every team that is here is actually looking for developer talent. So there are so many opportunities for you out there to develop your career in Cosmos and to stay in this ecosystem. Things like grants from the Interchain Foundation, things like different builder programs, things like people actually trying to hire full stack developers for full end user application, front end, back end. I mean, everyone here is hiring, and we have, even at Tendermint, we have like 30 open positions for developers. So events like this ones are the ones that allow us to scoop for fresh talent and be able to build that talent in this ecosystem. So we're looking forward to that, and we're looking forward to see what comes out of this event.
And that's great, but as you mentioned, this is the biggest hackathon ever, and one of the major events of this year, as you said in the presentation earlier. How about how that was possible? Because we all know what we are looking for. We all know we want new resources, new contributors, but to attract these people, how this was possible, how this even was born as vision from your team?
For sure. So we looked back at past hackathons, and we wondered, when me and my team started to develop this project, was how can we make this event work for the entire ecosystem? Because it's not about Cosmos Hub anymore. It's not about us being just one blockchain. It's about us growing together as an ecosystem. So for us to be able to fulfill this vision and to be able to grow together is actually us working as one single ecosystem. So what we actually did was we went to each and every project building with Cosmos and said, hey, we really want to make this a Cosmos ecosystem hackathon and not a Cosmos Hub hackathon. So for us to be able to do that, are you willing, or is your team willing to put up a challenge which is specific to your project, which is specific to your needs, to be able to scoop talent, to be able to find developers building on your project? Because the problem here that we all have as an ecosystem, and not only Cosmos but also other ecosystems as well, is we need people and developers to understand why blockchain technology is important and why solutions like Cosmos are the future of blockchain technology. And for those people to understand that, they need incentives, right? They need a motive and a reason to come build with us. And that motive and that reason is maybe an event like this one. So we actually went from team to team, and everyone was like, we're delighted to participate. We would really love to be part of this joint hackathon, which is actually the hackathon of the Cosmos ecosystem. So we ended up having 25 big sponsors, everything that you can imagine in this ecosystem, every chain that you have heard of, built on Cosmos and having traction and having like a mainnet is actually here with us. So everything from Kava to Osmosis to Region to, I mean, everyone is here. Even projects who did not launch yet but are truly like of interest to our community, like Evmos, for example, right? The Ethereum on Cosmos. Looking forward to see what ideas the developers bring, what new thoughts they have regarding how we can develop and how we can use this technology for the good of the ecosystem and also for the good of the planet. So, wrap up here, 25 challenges, 25 sponsors team. Everyone is working together for the same goal, and that goal is to grow the Cosmos ecosystem. And that was our success story and how we were able to pull 1,285,000 in prize pool. We're looking forward to future events like this ones, and we believe that as we grow as an ecosystem, this is only the beginning of what we are able to pull together when chains and projects and teams and people and communities work together.
Thank you so much, Adriana, to stay with us and to organize. And yeah, and starting with amazing movement, because even if now it's the hackathon of all the Cosmos ecosystem, it starts as Cosmos Hackathon. So it was amazing. Thank you so much for being here with us.
And one last thought before we go. I really want to thank Interchain Foundation for helping us with this effort. Interchain Foundation has been let's say, the first mover in everything regarding Cosmos building. They're the foundation behind Cosmos since 2017, funding Cosmos development for almost 5 years, and also funding, for example, one of the greatest events of all times, this event. So thank you, Interchain Foundation, for supporting and understanding that this type of events are the ones that move us forward, and also all the amazing sponsors that make this possible. We are one team, one ecosystem, and one community, and that is Cosmos.
Thank you so much, Adriana.
Thank you so much.
All right, we are here with the pylons now. After all this long day talking about HackAtom 6 and all the sponsors, we have a golden sponsor. They just had a workshop, an amazing workshop in the HackAtom Lounge. Please, Michael, tell us a little bit more about pylons and read the introduction, and also about your background. What brought you to Cosmos?
Awesome. Thank you, Daniela. Thank you, Daniela. Yeah, Pylons is a project for making blockchain easy and accessible. So it's focused on user experience for end users. So there's a Flutter-based wallet, which is really, really simple and easy to use, a mobile wallet, and it's focused on developer experience. So there's a Dart SDK, which again is extremely easy to use. So if you're a developer and you want to build a blockchain-powered application, but you aren't interested in writing a smart contract, you just want to like generate some stuff and have some digital items, and Pylons is there to sort of make that possible. Yeah, my background before I got here, I've been in blockchain since 2013. I built a Bitcoin exchange with some friends back in 2013. Yep. And I've always been looking for a way to make blockchain sort of reach the mass market, to like reach consumers, so that people are actually using it and experiencing it, and they're not trying to invest in it, but just trying to enjoy it. And so I've been looking for a way to do that. I found Cosmos in 2016 when I was at a hedge fund, and the hedge fund I was with did the seed funding of Cosmos. So I've been following Cosmos since the very beginning, and I've just always been really impressed with Tendermint, with IBC, with sort of the concept of having a Cosmos SDK, which at the time was super revolutionary. And so I've been a huge fan. I've been following it this whole time. When I saw CryptoKitties, I sort of immediately was like, oh, actually, like digital items are going to be the future of blockchain. Like money is actually not as important as digital items. And so I've been looking for a way to bring them together, and in 2019 I started a company, and Peng brought me into Tendermint in March, this year in March, and since then we've just been growing as fast as we can and building as fast as we can, and I guess it's been like 9 months or not even since we got in. 7 or 8 months since we joined Tendermint, and yeah, we just had our first live demo of the chain. Module was able to build a mobile app and connect it to the blockchain through the wallet in, the demo itself probably only took 15 minutes. It was really awesome to see. It was really awesome to see that happen, and to see, Module, who I actually met in the line for Bitcoin 2021, we couldn't get in because the line was too long, so we just started talking, and we were like, you know what, let's just get coffee and not go to the conference. And now, now she's helping us change blockchain.
That's really cool, and that's how things on Cosmos happens. Never, you never schedule that meeting. It's always about human interaction and things that you feel they must been like this. Things has to happen. In Cosmos, just things happen. And what I love about Pylons is that the different approach. That Cosmos always being really techy, really focused about bringing the best technology to people, but mostly on developers. The orientation to a mass adoption towards end user in general, or application that aims to be approached by end user, is still really missing. Not a lot of projects on Cosmos are building this, interfaces or solutions. It's almost more core for now. That's how I see that this HackAtom 6 can bring a changement, because only looking to the challenges we have, a changement is starting. We want different things. We want to englobe other audiences. We want to aim to bring more people into DeFi, build on games, build during health and sustainability challenges. So it's a total switch before, okay, we are just looking to developers that build their own chain and show us that they are capable to hire them. It's wider. And in your case as Pylon, which kind of talents are you looking for? Because we are all looking for talents, but what you're looking for Pylons and your team?
Oh, what a good question. I mean, we're growing so fast. We just finished our seed fundraise about 2 weeks ago, and so we're already thinking about what kind of token distribution model we want to have, and how we want to sort of fund the next phase of our growth and how fast that growth is going to be. But I feel pretty good about it. We want to be hiring blockchain engineers. We want to be hiring mobile engineers, Flutter in particular. But we also potentially interested in hiring people who know Unity. We're looking to hire a lot of community manager people. We need developer relations and support. We need a lot of marketing and communications. We need a lot of design. We're building a bunch of, we're building some first-party apps, so people who want to do product design or mobile build on first-party apps. Basically anything you want to do, we probably have room for it, because this organization was just me 9 months ago. So we're very, very young, and I'm really excited about the future for Pylons. And I think if you are looking at blockchain and you like the idea of people really owning digital stuff, digital goods, and having control of their own digital items, but you also really believe in usability, and you believe in accessibility, and you really want to fight against this force of making blockchain hard and complicated and frustrating, and you just want to make everything as easy as possible and really try to open up, then you should reach out, because that's the mission of Pylons. I think it's a little surprising to me that it's different, right? Because I would have expected that there would be a lot of people who really want to make things usable, but it really, in blockchain, there's not so much usability focus, and so we're really looking for people who have that usability focus. So yeah, come join the team.
One last question is something, in my opinion, will help the people who are watching us to understand what is what makes Pylons unique. Because we have solution that aims on Cosmos to build the base layer for NFT solution. I can tell, for example, one that IrisNet has an NFT model, and they a third party build Aptic on top. So there are other projects that are trying to build a layer for others to build on top. But I would really love to hear from you what makes Pylon different from these solutions.
Yeah, so there are sort of two main ways in which we're different. One is that we are addressing the user experience much more natively. So we have our own wallet that we built that's much easier to use than the existing wallets. So Pylon's items are very easy to interact with. So I think that's a real big differentiator from the existing NFT platforms. You can build a Flutter app. You can say like issue NFT. You put a few lines in your code to issue an NFT. It'll open up in the wallet and say, do you want this NFT? The user says yes. That's it. That's the whole interaction, right? And that's much simpler than sort of the other NFT modules out there. The other piece is that it's a very programmable system. We have this system of recipes that lets you define your attributes and then define really specific ways in which they can change and combine. And you can really make a full game off of your items. You can build a full game out of these recipes. So it's much more robust and powerful than what's going on in the other NFT modules out there. And then the third thing of the two is that there's no gas fees on Pylons. So if you want your users to be able to just jump in and use it and you don't want them to have to go to a cryptocurrency exchange, Pylons does not have a gas fee. We don't take any fee until your user actually makes a payment, right? We're a totally commission-based chain. So you can build free-to-play experiences. You can get your users in a much smoother way. So yeah, that's it. It's smooth and easy and free to get your users into a more powerful experience than sort of the other NFT solutions currently provide.
Oh, that's cool. That's a totally different approach. Like, I was missing like the last part actually, and I'm quite happy to have been asked because it's a different approach. Like, it's something still on Cosmos I've not saw yet, and so yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Thank you so much, Michael, to having been with us. Really appreciate your time, and we all hope to see you and your project like growing and showing us like the final result, please. So, thank you so much. Hi everyone, we are here now with the SafeChain team, always from HackAtom VI in Lisbon. Please introduce a little bit of a background about the team and your background. Like, what were you doing before SafeChain? Why you joined the team? And which are the goals of SafeChain as a team now and in the short period?
Sure. I joined SafeChain back in May, and I'm a senior engineer at SafeChain. I joined SafeChain because part of our entire our mission of decentralization as an ecosystem and just the blockchain ecosystem as a whole is largely backed right now by centralized exchanges. And we can never actually truly be decentralized until people have a medium of exchange for transferring these tokens between their microeconomies. So what SafeChain actually is, and how it differentiates itself from some of the other decentralized exchanges in the ecosystem. So first, we are an omnichain DEX. So unlike something like SushiSwap or Uniswap, we are not restricted to tokens on a single network or a single ecosystem, but all ecosystems. So currently we are connected to both via both IBC and our in-house PEGI protocol, which connects to EVM chains. Currently just Ethereum, but we're gearing up for several others, so stay tuned. And the other thing that's very unique about SafeChain is our investment in the crypto economics sector. we invest heavily in getting the best people to design these protocols, which are very difficult um, to collaborate on without that heavy investment in the academic side of things as well. So something we have coming soon is margin trading, especially deep margin. We're talking up to 100x margin, which enables leverage in ways that currently is not possible anywhere else, including centralized exchanges. So yeah, that's a good short summary of what SIFChain is.
Thank you so much for the summary. One thing I would like to understand from the SIFChain team is about the challenge in itself that you proposed for HackAtom 6. So please just introduce us a little bit more in depth about what is the scope of the challenge, and mostly what are you looking for in that challenge, and which kind of talent you expect to see shine better in this challenge.
Sure. So for Web 1.0, we had IP addresses, and people started making these lists of IP addresses on pieces of paper, and they would write down an IP address and then what that IP address actually was representing. So maybe it was a document, maybe it was a list of documents, and eventually these lists got very long, and people needed a central way to collaborate on these lists of addresses. A way that would enable them to navigate to different websites just by knowing a human-readable name. And this is how we ended up with DNS. This is how you have Facebook.com, Apple.com, and you can just go right there without having to know an IP address, and it simplifies the process. IP addresses are for developers, not users. So now as we have Web 2.0 with the DNS, but this is very central. It's a distributed system, but it still requires centralized actors that have a lot of authority over the domain names themselves. So this brings us to Web 3, and particularly the Interchain. So with the Interchain and IBC protocol, we have a very similar problem. We have chain IDs, channel IDs, connection IDs, and we have these lists, and we're keeping them on our front ends. So every decentralized exchange has these lists. Osmosis, SIFChain, Amaris, we have these lists of chain IDs and channel IDs and connection IDs, as well as IBC denoms, which are just these big, ugly numbers that represent tokens. And there's no way to really define the difference between one chain and another without these lists. But these lists are getting long, and it's very unproductive for developers to enter the ecosystem and know all of this data beforehand. So we're proposing something new. This is something that the ecosystem has been demanding for a while, and it's called a chain name service. So in the same way that DNS simplified this process into simplified IP addresses into human-readable names, the CNS, or chain name service, will simplify all this IBC metadata into human-readable names. So instead of connection 364, you can just say SIFChain. And the same goes for any tokens that are listed on those exchanges. And the idea is that when one chain updates its own name and its own token list, that data can automatically sync across to another chain if that chain has subscribed to that information. So this enables the entire ecosystem and the entire interchain to become a large interconnected web of in-sync metadata, so that any developer can develop cross-chain apps on a single chain right out of the box, batteries included.
Now makes more sense, I have to say, because always read about challenges just on paper is a thing, but I have a little bit in depth, and why the team choose this specific challenge is always great to have. One last thing is, I know all of you are busy, you are all always building, like 7.7 is not feasible to do anything else, but if you will have time, now that Cosmos is ever expanding and growing so fast, what you would like to start building from zero? There is something, mm, I'm not talking about another SIF chain, another bridge, but a totally different project. There is something that attracts you in the Cosmos ecosystem and you would like to say, yeah, I really want to build this.
Sure. We're looking at, so what I would really like to see, most of all, and it's something a lot of people don't talk about, but there's currently a centralized cog in the whole IBC ecosystem, and it's the relayers. So we love our relayer providers, but currently the whole process hinges heavily on allocation of funds to these central relayers. And some exchanges are just biting the bullet and just paying these costs from their core team. Other exchanges are taking fees, which go to the core team. But no matter what, there is a centralized party in the middle, which is collecting these fees and then paying it out to relayer companies to run these relayers. So if there's one thing I'd really like to see the ecosystem improve upon right now, it would be in incentivizing relayers on a per transaction basis to make these transfers. And sometimes sometimes you'll create a transfer on one chain and you'll just be waiting for this relayer to be sort of altruistic in just picking up this token and moving it over to the other chain. But shouldn't you be able to just increase your gas, for example, as you would in Ethereum? Increase your transaction fee, add a fee to that transfer, and allow a relayer to be more incentivized to pick up your transfer and move it over. That's what I would like to see in the Cosmos ecosystem. It's a user experience problem, and it's also a decentralization problem at its core.
Thank you so much. This actually, I think that in Cosmos we are talking a lot about Relayer and how we should improve. I know that Jack Zampolin and other people are talking about Relayer DAO to try to push this forward because we really need to find a solution to this because, I mean, it's a thing. It's kind of centralized right now. But thank you so much to being with us. Really, really appreciate, and we hope to see SIF Chain like really kick off and keep building and being adopted in other projects from ecosystem as well. Thank you so much. I'm so excited when you start talking about an inter NFT standard because we are talking about this with a lot of team for so long now, and we really need to take the step forward and start to see more initiatives, something concrete. For example, I can't wait to have the possibility to exchange or to just see my NFTs in my Cosmos wallet. It might seem stupid, but from an end user's perspective, sometimes I just want to open and say, okay, like I have this, just all together, because it's kind of frustrating all the time to, oh no, I have to change my interface because like my active NFT is not showing up in my Kepler Wallet, or I have no connection between the both. So will be really great to see something about this soon. So thank you so much. Davide was really, really appreciated, and we're now happy to see you here. And I'm sure that even if we receive a lot of great news today, we will see even better in the near future. Thank you so much. All right, we are here with the speaker of HackAtom VI in person, Alex. But Alex, please, tell us a little bit more about yourself and your team and what are you doing right now?
Sure. So I've been following the Cosmos ecosystem very closely for about the past 2 years and joined Tendermint 2 months ago. And right now I'm a technical product manager working on Emrys. So the vision with Emrys is that we want to build the gateway into the entire crypto universe with the best user experience possible. Our goal is that everyone and their parents can easily use our platform to swap, to stake, to vote on governance, and to do anything crypto related in a really intuitive and secure way. So currently, we allow users to swap on the Gravity DEX and to view their whole portfolio across the Cosmos multi-chain. Very soon we'll have staking. We're talking about other really cool features that are kind of under wraps right now, but everything that you would want to do within the Cosmos universe, we're working on right now. And then in the future, we're going to bridge out to Ethereum, maybe Solana, and other L1s as well. So stay tuned for a public launch. We're currently in beta.
Okay, thank you for the update. One thing I know a lot of people keep asking every day is how MREs differ from other interfaces as Osmosis. I'm talking about the interface, not the chain, but Osmosis or SIF chain, for example. Like, what makes MREs really different and not really in comparison between these?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we have amazing designers who really think about these crypto primitives in a new light on how the average person will view this. Because I mean, the average person doesn't necessarily understand staking. They definitely don't understand liquidity providing. So how can we explain this out in an intuitive manner? And that's what we're trying to build. We're trying to build something that has an amazing UX for the non-crypto natives. Whereas Osmosis and SIF chain, they have an amazing user interface for people who understand cryptocurrencies. Like, I love using Osmosis and SIF chain. I think they're pretty awesome tools, but they're just not built for the average person. And so that's where we're coming in, and we hope to really grow the whole crypto user base through this new intuitive approach.
Now a question about the team, because you mentioned that you are still in beta, you are growing a lot, you are approaching the public launch. So this in my head sounds, hey, we are looking for a lot of people to join us. Which kind of talent you are looking for? And do you think you will ever find some of them here at the HackAtom?
Yes, so we are definitely looking for any and all engineers. We need front-end engineers, we need back-end engineers, we need infrastructure devs. If you can code, please come join us in building this mission. We're really passionate about it. We hope you're passionate too about building the future UX of the multi-chain. So we are keeping a close eye on who's building what this hackathon. I personally plan on reviewing everyone's submission and seeing if it's cool or not, seeing if they have passion for this space. And I'm sure we're going to be reaching out to some of the participants to get them interviewed and hopefully extend some good offers.
Thank you so much, Alex. Was pretty clear. So basically, everyone who can code just join the HackAtom. Like, Alex is watching you somehow. Yes. Alex is watching you. Thank you so much for being with us and explaining us a little bit better about what MREs aims to and what is upcoming for MREs. Let's see you on the stage really soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we are here now with the Ecash team. We want to remind you that Ecash is also a sponsor of HackAtom 6, and they are providing their own challenge. Please introduce us about a little bit more about Ecash, what you are aiming to do in the short and long term, and of course about your challenge. Introduce us your challenge and the talent you're looking for right now in this hackathon.
Yeah, absolutely. So here at Akash, we basically do something that's very, very common. We provide server compute, or we enable people to get server compute. You know, the same stuff that AWS or GCP or Azure dominate the market on. The difference is we use blockchain to decentralize it and put the power back in the hands of the consumers so that they don't get deplatformed, they're censorship resistant, which is really big here in crypto. The big three providers don't really like crypto people. We're crypto native, so come join us. That's kind of our short term. Long term, I'd really like to see us basically take over the space. I think in a Web3 world, we're the natural solution and we're the logical solution. So That's that. From a challenge perspective, what we're trying to do is support the Cosmos community as a whole. So we're basically taking the chains that everyone's running and we're making easy to deploy nodes that run on Akash. So instead of having to go to, again, AWS or any of the others, you can actually just easily deploy using what's in the GitHub repo and have, like a Juno node or whatever it is you need for your decentralized app to run. It should just be as easy as going to a repo, hitting deploy, and boom, you should be up and running. So we're trying to help flesh that out. We've got the basics of it already built out. We're just asking people to go in, add new chains, add chains that we haven't seen yet, we haven't supported yet, and whoever adds the most working chains, will win the challenge. So
That's pretty cool. Actually, personally, myself, I really see how Akash will be adopted every day more. I saw, for example, when those deploy Big Dipper on Akash, like a lot, or when you launch it, the challenges were Minecraft style on Akash, and was really cool. And in my opinion, Akash is one of the easier way for people to, and for an average user to understand that crypto is not only about token, it's not everything about token. Crypto is really much more and can really bring a lot of services and application that most of the people really have not, they are not able to realize yet. And Akash is a perfect example of this. And I saw you like working a lot with a community, which is something not every project are doing right now. And it's amazing because you basically have a fan base from the very, very, very beginning, and they are so passionate. And this is so amazing to see. Like, I really love actually following Akash social media and community because they're really so passionate, and it's funny, and there are a lot of memes, and it's cool. About the team itself, you grow a lot in the last period. Like, I mean, in the past year, we all grow a lot, but Akash especially, you added a lot of talent. What kind of talent you are looking for during this hackathon? Do you have some profile? Do you have some suggestions or something you really would like to find between the hackers?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, obviously, in this space, we're always in the market for devs. We're always in the market for good community people. Crypto marketing is huge as well. Like you said, we've been growing just tremendously. The chain, the company, everything has just been taking off. So, the better question is, what aren't we looking for right now? We don't need a new CEO. I'll throw that out there. He's great. He's got it covered. Yep, he's got it covered. But from that standpoint, developers who are working on the challenge, obviously the challenge we're doing is a little more DevOps focused than say like strictly developer. You're not going to be writing JavaScript front ends or UIs or anything like that. But pretty much anyone can get out there and deploy on Akash, and that's really the only knowledge you need to participate in this challenge. So, if you have a little bit of DevOps experience, give it a shot. You can probably do it. It's actually not that hard. So.
One last question, because I know that Akash, a lot of people and services inside Cosmos and not really are trying to deploy more and more often on Akash. Do you have some relevant partnership or people deploying Akash to mention, just to give people more an idea about what does it mean having our own service on Akash network?
Yeah, so I mean, given the fact we're sitting here at HackAtom, where Osmosis was born, right? Might be interesting to know that they actually run their front end on Akash. So there you go, like full circle, right? There are actually a lot of other crypto projects. We actually we have a lot of miners as well, from things like PKT Cash, who come to us because we're crypto friendly. They're not going to get deplatformed off Amazon for mining on Amazon, right? So it works out really well for crypto projects to help out, embrace each other, make the world a better place together as a community, and that's really kind of a core tenet of what we believe in and what we're trying to do.
Which is really Cosmos, like inclusive and all together. Thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate that, and we'll love to see more and more services deployed on Kakash really soon. Thank you so much again. Thank you. Hi everyone, we are here again at HackAtom VI in Lisbon with Josh Lee, co-founder of Osmosis and Chainapsis, which is the development team behind Kepler Wallet. Please, Josh, introduce yourself a little bit, how you can work together with two Cosmos major projects, because I mean, lack of time is a thing for every one of us, and explain yourself to your audience. Um, what are the goals in the short term for Chainapsis and both Osmosis in general?
Hi everyone, my name is Josh Lee. I'm the co-founder of Chainapsis and Osmosis. In Chainapsis, one of the products that we've been building for about a year and a half is called Kepler Wallet. And Kepler is a browser extension wallet for Cosmos. And right now I think we have about 170,000 users using it worldwide. And for Osmosis, I think right now, it's crazy to think about it, but it's like the largest AMM in Cosmos. So yeah, my emphasis has always been around how do you make a product usable, and I think that's a very challenging task, especially in the world of like crypto and blockchains, where there's a lot of limitations of what you can and can't do. And my goal is essentially to make that as simple as possible, make things as usable as possible, and whether that is an AMM that has IBC and Interchain, and how can you abstract away some of these core difficulties around the Interchain to make things more usable for the user. And then same thing from the wallet side. It's like how can you there are many browser extension wallets, but I think there are very few that have been dealing with the world of the Interchain, and that's kind of been my emphasis as well. Yeah.
Okay, one thing I wrote today that Kepler extension just disable the manual interchain transfer that were introduced with the first IBC transfer like a month ago. And it's, in my opinion, this is kind of aligned what you are saying. You want an interface which is user-friendly, and somehow the interchain transfer was an advanced function, not really adapt for an average user base. Are you in plan to introduce different features around now that the interchain transfer is not available anymore? How do you think you will make a distinction between Kepler and the other Cosmos browser or not Cosmos browser?
So yeah, removing IBC transfers from the homepage is one of those few things where we feel like IBC is new. IBC hasn't been worked with for a very long time, which means there's not a lot of standards of how you deal with IBC. And I think this is one of the strengths in Cosmos ecosystem, where people are willing to try new things, and also not just try new things, but if things don't work, you iterate very quickly to change and make things better. And in the context of the wallet, I think a lot of the user interaction so far has centered around Kepler and the wallet itself. But I think the ecosystem has basically matured enough to the point where let's bring the standards of how it feels and how the interaction of IBC feels like from the user end a lot better, and set our standards higher. So prior to this, maybe it was like a 7-step process that the user had to know how to use to access IBC. Whereas I think now, how we're aiming for is that let's all kind of set ourselves to a higher standard and make better applications that remove some of these steps. And maybe that means it requires more work from the application developers. But I think our entire goal should always just be, what does the user want, and does this make things easier for the user? And I think that philosophy has been kind of inherent to a lot of the products that we build, regardless of whether that is Kepler or whether that is Osmosis. And yeah, we want to see this kind of spread around in Cosmos. Obviously, standardization in the interchain world is very important. And I don't think standardization is something that happens when you just sit down in a room and write papers. And it's like, ironically enough, being a wallet, where you're kind of at the center of all the user interactions to the blockchain, you kind of end up having to set some standards for this is what an IBC transaction should look like, or this is how the user should be able to interact with a web page. And I think prior to this, we've been in a very like build mode. I think now we're kind of going into the age of refine. So making things better.
I want to just to go back a little bit in the time factor, because your team has two really big focuses, because building Kepler, which is the right now with Cosmos Station, one of the major wallet for a Cosmos user, and from the other side we have Osmosis, which is the most adopted DEX on Cosmos, Interchain DEX. How is possible, and how you and your team manage to keep the focus and keep building and growing with two so fast growing projects?
Yeah, so I think, first of all, I think a lot of the credit goes to my Chainapps co-founder, Tony. I tend to be a lot more in these events and meeting people, but behind the scenes, it's typically Tony that is like spending the time building a lot of these things, and I'm kind of just the external way of presenting this, his ideas and thoughts into other people as well. And I think a lot of what we've been able to achieve in such a short amount of time is because of the work and commitment that he puts in, and then two, obviously it's the community support that first of all gives us feedback on things that we can do better, and then two, sometimes we don't meet certain standards, and the community has been very patient, and then lastly, it's like it's because everyone in the team loves Cosmos, believes in Cosmos, and we believe that the future of blockchain is the interchain, and we get to be at the forefront of defining what that would look like. And I think that's such a it's such an interesting place to be in, where what you're building might be a standard that can be used across all the different blockchains in the world, maybe 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road. And I think that excitement, passion, and commitment is kind of what allows us to kind of drive us forward and work on so many different things. And it's a very gratifying and rewarding experience building in Cosmos, I think.
Now I will say, I'm really curious to know about what you're looking for in this HackAtom 6, because basically you met Tony and you start collaborating with Tony in the HackAtom Soul, so the second HackAtom, and you work together in the San Francisco DeFi HackAtom, and then Tony presented the Osmosis project and the past HackAtom 5. So your team has a long story about participating and winning hackathons. Are you looking for something specific by the hackathon participant? Do you think that you will be able to find new talents between the hackers that register for this event?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, first of all, hackathons are such a good way to either start a project or build a portfolio, or just get yourself, known more out in the public on what you're passionate about, what you're building. And from my personal experience of being in different hackathons, the best part about Cosmos is like you're surrounded by people that are very passionate about Cosmos. I think we have a very kind of sticky set of community people who are very eager to help out and things like that. In terms of like what I'm looking forward to is, I think it's very different this time around from a lot of the previous hackathons, where before it was just like people building it, within that hackathon, and it only lasted up to the hackathon. But today, I think Cosmos is a lot bigger than Cosmos, was 2 or 3 years ago when we were, participating in hackathons, and making sure that you update the community on what you're building. You include the community in what you're building, and I think I'm kind of personally looking forward to hackers who are building things that involve the public more into the hackathon, especially so since this is a virtual, like, online hackathon. And ultimately, what's really crazy is like today now we actually have applications that are actively being used which means that whatever you're building will, might have that chance of being used by, hundreds, if not like thousands of users, and make an actual lasting impact on how the user interfaces the interchain. And I think that's like one of the most exciting, most gratifying things as someone who's building, is like someone else using your product, that person loving it and feel like what you have built kind of changed how they experience crypto or blockchain and things like that. So yeah, there's definitely never been a better time to build and hack on Cosmos, I think.
Okay, thank you so much for your contribution and for your daily contribution. You and your team are really precious. And thank you for seeing us. And yeah, let's see you soon in the HackAtom. Hi everyone, we are here again with our third guest, Dean from Agrit. I know that everyone already knows him, so no need of introduction, but I'm sure that he's kind enough to just give a briefly new intro about the stage of Agoric and what he's doing right now for you.
Sure. Agoric just announced a mainnet 0, so that is the Cosmos layer only, where we're relying on Cosmos for its battle-tested consensus tendermint, and so we have deployed our build token BLD, and are getting our validator set all scaled up. So we're at 77 validators, heading towards the 125, and getting tokens distributed and finishing up our development for deployment of JavaScript smart contracts early next year. So very excited about that, getting all these pieces together. We've got a DevNet up and running, so people have been building on Agoric and building for this platform for months now. And indeed, hopefully lots of developers in the HackAtom here will build the next round of stuff on it. So I'm looking forward to that.
This is so cool. And yeah, and the presentation and Cosmoverse was it was amazing. One of my favorites. Second thing, you are a sponsor of HackAtom VI, which is the biggest one for Cosmos ever. I would like to know a little bit better, what do you think about your own challenge, and what do you expect exactly from hackers to build for you and to present for you in Submit?
Excellent. So our category, our challenge is in the interoperability category. And so we have one particular challenge we called out right now, but I want to be clear, we're looking for lots of stuff. A key thing about the Agoric platform is it is any smart contract written in hardened version of JavaScript, and that means that, like Ethereum, like some of these platforms, hackers can build anything on top of the platform. So I'm more than happy if someone goes, I really want to do a loan protocol. I've got an idea for how fractionalized NFTs work. I'm going to do that. We're going to be excited about that. We're going to make sure that that shows up, as a winner too. So the particular challenge that is written up is to do liquidity mining. Right? One of the things that you can do in JavaScript is you can roll out new customized smart contracts for particular purposes. So we picked as the initial example Osmosis, which has on it, it's an AMM where you can grab the liquidity token and lock it up for 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, and that's it, right? And that's really useful, that's very powerful, but if you were a new token that wanted to increase the rewards the longer it was locked up, or have some additional reward if you locked up both X token and Y token, or something that was custom for this new environment, you can go over to Osmosis, you can go over to Emrys, you can go over to whatever that other chain is, get a liquidity token, bring it over IBC over to the Agoric chain, and lock it up inside of a JavaScript smart contract that has whatever behavior you want, right? And so you could make a smart contract that was going to, have a bunch of our build token and reward that once a week it distributes to people who have stuff locked up, or some Akash token to reward liquidity tokens from the Akash pool on Osmosis to reward them not only with profit, but with access to more compute power, right? These kinds of things are custom and interesting, and in an environment like Agoric, where it's got arbitrary rich DeFi Legos and a growing economy, now you can not just have this initial yield arrangement with IBC liquidity mining, but rich secondary markets to sell your position there, or those kinds of things. So we're really looking for people to sort of take that idea of IBC liquidity mining and go from there. Or of course, as I said, it's a general platform. You know, it's built for DeFi Legos, bring it, right? It's built for NFT Legos, you know, make it happen. You know, all of the people that are really innovating in UI, now they can also own the smart contract side of the house. And so we're really looking forward to see what people can build with this stuff.
One last question. I'm really curious about you because you are always so passionate, so involved. If it was not for Agoric challenge, which is great, as you just explained it, do you will have a build for another challenge or another category? Because like challenges are really specific for a project, but maybe you will have look like for another of our category, which could be herd or interoperability or gaming. What you would have liked to build?
So our current one is, of course, interoperability. You know, as some of the people that help create IBC, that's sort of the thing that makes Cosmos different is that. And more importantly, the thing that makes Cosmos different at this HackAtom as opposed to previous ones is IBC. And that, you know, and I just love, as I said, you know, I said before, that last year everyone was like, oh yeah, someday interoperability will matter. And this year everyone is trying to be the most interoperable because everyone knows that that's the thing. And it's just the thing. Okay. So that having been said, Cosmos is very, very early stages of DeFi, very, very early stages of NFT, and it's really well suited to both. And so I mean, you know, that's part of why we love that for people to start building on our platform that way. But it's good for all of the Cosmoverse as each chain brings some new thing in and some new DeFi in. I think it's good for all of us. It attracts attention to the space, and because of IBC, you know, every success of another chain I can leverage onto Agoric and make happen. Because of IBC, every asset that someone will build in JavaScript on our chain, they could take over to Osmosis and set up a pool. And so, you know, so I would be perfectly happy to see some new chain that had, you know, fine-grained integration with a gaming infrastructure, or that had a new loan protocol and they were doing it as a special chain, or, you know, bridge integration off to other chains to get their assets available to me, so that when I launch, they're ready for someone to build derivatives on Agoric around, or whatever it is. So you know, I'm looking for a bunch of those things.
Which is great, and I really hope that Cosmos is ever expanding. Like we will, like, better soon than later, but soon we will see most of them. Thank you so much, Dean. I can really wait to see how Agoric will grow really soon, like, really. And thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me, and I look forward to this.
Hi again, we are here with the Key Foundation, and we are so excited to explain to you what is Key Foundation building, who are part of the team, and what is their role in the HackAtom 6, because they are also great sponsor of our challenges. Please, introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Reda. I'm the co-founder and CEO of the Key Foundation, which has launched a product called Club, which is a private wallet platform that offers a regulated gateway from fiat to DeFi. So basically, we're sponsoring this event for one important reason is that we consider that the Cosmos ecosystem is going to become a thriving ecosystem for DeFi, and one of the missing feature that is going, I think, to blow everything up in terms of value is the Interchain account feature, and we're really happy and grateful to be able to sponsor a challenge, which is the implementation of the Interchain accounts with a usage of that feature for inter-blockchain DeFi protocols. So basically, you'll be able to run a smart contract on Juno and also operate other chains through that single chain. And once this MVP is ready, I think once the audit is passed on the proposal for Interchain accounts, it will be the opening of the gates and floodgates for DeFi on Cosmos.
Thank you so much. So DeFi on Cosmos, like Cosmos DeFi, it's always an hot topic because actually we are still really early on this. Like we are growing so much, we are expanding so much, but DeFi, NFT, and gaming, we have like really a lot still of work to do to bring mass adoption um, on these areas. What do you think is still needed after Interchain account to see a real growth on Cosmos DeFi and a mass adoption for us?
I think that, like Sunny said in the opening of Hackathon, right now we have an AMM. We also have like other liquidity pools chains, like a SIF chain that offers also a marketplace for those swapping pools. But I think that the most important elements that need to happen in the Cosmos ecosystem is bringing liquidity and creating that like very well thought bridges to make those chains that offer AMMs, lending products, borrowing products, to communicate between them. Once this is done, and this is my view, as I view the blockchain space as a wild west until today, that enabled a lot of innovation, and I think that's it's important to be able to in some kind of sandbox to do whatever you want to do. But at a certain point, if you want to stabilize, if you want to grow and like really become an area where institutions can cooperate with you, then you need to comply with the regulation. And we're actually very deep into looking into those topics, as we have been getting the licenses needed to operate as a compliant gateway to DeFi. Yet, we need to have other features. Like basically, we wanted to sponsor another challenge, but because we've been very late into participating to the hackathon, there is another challenge which is about decentralized identity. Once we're able to create whitelisted environments for DeFi, there are many, many institutions that are looking into pouring liquidity in those spaces. And this is one of the only things I see, but the most important things that institutions are waiting for, how to be in DeFi while staying compliant and respect the regulation. I think this is my opinion, but interchain accounts and decentralized identity will be transformative for the Cosmos ecosystem.
Thank you so much. Just a last question. You mentioned club and that you have a lot is ongoing with the Key Foundation. Can you please give us a small overview about how, in your opinion, your product and what you are building will change after IBC enablement and Cosmos expanding and growing?
Yeah. So we are true believers of the Cosmos ecosystem. As a matter of fact, once we did the IBC upgrade of our chain, I think it was 3 days ago, we took away all of the liquidities from Uniswap. Actually, we're completely leaving Ethereum to focus 100% on Cosmos. So what is Club? Club is a private wealth platform that offers regulated services such as investing in securities, but also investing in non-regulated asset like crypto assets. Crypto assets are commodities as they're considered in most of the jurisdictions that we operate in. What's going to happen is that we'll enable the members of Club to take positions on most of the Cosmos SDK-based assets that we believe in, and basically we have a partnership with Sentinel, which is a project that we also truly believe in. We also have a partnership with Juno, and we also are true believers of Osmosis, and we have also a strong position in this asset. And we'll be continuing building more financial products and also DeFi products based on those assets. We're also looking into Akash, we're looking into persistence, any kind of assets that is based on true value, like true services, are the kind of assets that we look into. And so Club is a gateway for most of the people that are members in it. So we have 300 active members with a global net worth of 2 billion euros and 4,000 people on the waitlist. And we'll be opening the doors to more and more people to join Club. and we're opening the doors to more and more people that have never interacted with blockchain or crypto. Most of the 300 members that we have in club, the first crypto that they bought is the key. So we're bringing people from the traditional finance world into a world that is safe for them. So we do due diligence, so we are regulated, we getting as many licenses that we need to operate in a compliant way, and we're bringing them to that world that, like, they fear that world. We had one of our members was like, oh, Bitcoin and crypto is just for scammers. And then he had a talk with one of my co-founder, and he bought like tens of thousands of euros worth of key. And actually we're very grateful to have very smart people surrounding us and members that believe in our vision. But also we're accountable on the quality of the services and products that we offer in club.
Thank you so much for being here with us. And I really can't wait to see how Club will evolve and Key Foundation will bring, because you are bringing a lot of value already, but I'm sure we will see you more and more involved, like, in the upcoming time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're back. Now we have with us Sunny from Osmosis and Zika Validator. And please, Sunny, tell to people a little bit more about context about what Osmosis is, what is your vision, like short term and long term, and what do you think this hackathon in particularly can bring a kind of evolution and some key point for the execution of your project from now on?
Yeah, thank you so much. So Osmosis is a DEX built on the Cosmos SDK, and the goal is to be the best DEX in all of Cosmos, and not just Cosmos, but the entire Interchain. And so currently, we have this, we're the first IBC-enabled DEX that you can bring all your Cosmos assets into, and it provides like liquidity pools, very similar to like many AMM platforms that people are familiar with. But going forward, we want to how do we superpower this and make this into new features? And so, we're working on, Osmosis sort of has this vision of like, if we want to compete with centralized exchanges offer this suite of products that are in one package, right? So centralized exchanges are not just the trading infrastructure. You also have, complex things like margin trading. You have, it's a custodian thing. It's an information place. And so we want to bring all of those into Osmosis. So, we're looking for things around, cool UX experiences, new protocols. So we'll be adding CosmWasm to Osmosis very soon. And so that it'll be a little bit more of like a permissioned CosmWasm where governance has to approve things, but like anything that's like kind of bolsters the Osmosis experience, whether it's like a lending protocol or something like that, would love to see things like that. We left our challenge pretty open-ended because we were just like, I think it was do something cool with Osmosis. And so, we're just interested to see what people create. So whether it's like front-end stuff or back-end stuff, or I'm just excited to see what people come up with.
That's great. One thing I really want to highlight, especially for Osmosis, because it's the first time ever, but in HackAtom we have challenge which is sponsored by a community pool, which is something amazing. And I would like you to tell us a little bit more about how Osmosis approach is and why it's so different from all the other projects we have shown so far on Cosmos.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, Osmosis, the community pool was actually what sponsored this hackathon, not the dev teams. And same, with Cosmoverse conference, the sponsorship came from the community pool. This comes, I think, primarily from just like how decentralized Osmosis is, where there's actually not like a single dev team for Osmosis. There's actually like multiple dev teams. So, Sika Validator was one of them. Chainapsis is another dev team. Then there's Imperator, which does all the analytics platform. And so we have these like multiple dev teams, but then at the same time we have these like on-chain DAOs that also do things. So there's like an Osmosis marketing DAO, there's an Osmosis community support DAO, and so like Osmosis development actually is happening via these like many development teams and like DAOs sort of collaborating together. And so our teams are like very much focused on like development, and while the community pool is like really the one that's like taking the charge on community initiatives. That's why it's called the community pool.
Another question may be, as you are saying us that you have a lot of DAO, the marketing support DAO, you have a lot of external contribution to the core team, so you can have Imperator and other people collaborating. What you're exactly looking for from this hackathon? Because a lot of teams put their own challenges because they want to spot talents and bring the talent to the team. But what is your vision? Like, you want to grow your core team, or you want to incentivize others, more independent teams, to keep building on osmosis their own solution?
Yeah, I mean, I guess a little bit of both. We'll always be keeping out an eye for like amazing talent and try to bring them in-house as well. But at the same time, we recognize that people might want to build their own things, and so we want to like Osmosis to be a platform where people can do this kind of stuff. So that's sort of why we're adding Cosmwasm to be able to do this. But especially we're especially looking for a lot of like front-end engineers. So anyone who like wants to do like cool stuff with the front end would be really cool. One thing I mentioned during the talk was one thing I've been thinking a lot about recently, I'd love to see, is like a troll box on the Osmosis website where I want people like chatting about like what's happening and stuff. And so even like cool, funny ideas like that maybe aren't even very blockchain related, but just like enhance the user experience of people using blockchains and like brings delightful experiences to the platform. I think that's really what we're looking for.
Okay, one last question. How about what you would have loved to build for this HackAtom 6? Right now, we know you are busy, you have no time and whatever, but there are a lot of challenges, a lot of scopes, a lot of purposes. If you were just a beginner as a developer, from all the challenges and the categories, what you would have loved to pursue as like hacker?
There is a community voted prize, right? Where whichever project gets the most votes on DevPost. I would love to have built my hack would have been a contract that bribes people to vote for my project. And I think that would be really funny. And I talked about during my presentation that like the trick to winning hackathons, I've learned, you do one of these two things, you'll win guaranteed, which is either have a 3D visualization or you do something funny. And so that's what I would be building.
Thank you so much for today and for joining us, and we will love to see you keep building and stay around. Just stay around. Thank you so much. We are now here with the BitSong team, which is also a sponsor of HackAtom 6. So, Julian, please introduce yourself a little bit and a little bit of your background to the audience, and also explain why BitSong decided to participate at this hackathon and what BitSong is doing right now.
Sure, thank you, Daniela. So my name is Julian, I'm the Bitsong co-founder. I've been in the crypto space since 2016 now, so yeah, it's been 5 years. Bitsong was born with the idea to create like a streaming music portal based on Ethereum's blockchain to facilitate artists getting more fast revenues and royalties. And at the time that we started actually building the blockchain and the platform, we realized that it wasn't possible doing that on the Ethereum's blockchain. So we started researches, and after 6 months of researches, we found Tendermint, and then we discovered Cosmos, of course. And Cosmos, it opened like a new universe for us, and we realized that we're being able now to expand our vision and to start building something really, really important. The reason we're in Hackathon, it's well, basically this is I think our second hackathon. The first one was in Berlin. If I'm not wrong, it was the first one ever. All right, so that was our first hackathon. This is the second we are taking part in, but this time as a sponsor. What we're looking forward to do in the hackathon, our challenge basically is like exporting the smart contracts on OpenSea, a very, very popular NFTs marketplace platform now running on Ethereum's blockchain, to export it, to migrate it to Cosmos SDK, all right? So building a module for Cosmos SDK. Basically, we already put basis for that because we already developed our NFT module, which integrates for the first time in Cosmos SDK a very interesting feature, which is the Perpetual Royalties. The Perpetual Royalties is nothing else than the splitting royalties system in real time at each block. So I'll make an example. If Daniela creates an NFT on BitSunks, she'll be able to set to customize how the royalties are being divided, all right? So maybe Daniela has 40% of that creation, of that collection. I don't know, I have 20%, and the gentleman over there is having other 40%, all right? So at the time that you create the NFT, you set up all these parameters or these values, and the blockchain at every block splits the royalties in real time, and all those royalties are going to the, let's say, to the creators. All right. So what we're looking forward to do in the hackathon is this, first of all, and of course to find talents, to find new people willing to share our own vision and willing to collaborate with us for the next features of the project. It's not only for building something now in hackathon, but since we are as everyone in Cosmos and in other ecosystem, we are actively hiring and looking for new talents. So yeah, this might be a huge opportunity for us.
That's great. Thank you so much. Another thing I want to ask you, because you just joined the IBC gang, and we were so happy to see you all join. What this means for you as a team? What are the changes and the new challenges that this status is bringing as a team? Or you are facing a new status of a roadmap? What is upcoming for you?
Yeah, so basically, well, IBC, it was one of our main goals since we migrated our project from Ethereum to Cosmos. I would say finally we are IBC enabled. It was the main goal. We launched our mainnet, our BitSung one back in March 2021, and since then and until 3 weeks ago that we executed the upgrade and we enabled IBC, it was a continuous work on developing new modules, all right, including also the integration of IBC. Well, interoperability and IBC, it's something that opened us the universe to build what we're building today, all right? So with IBC, we will be allowed. All right, I will make another kind of preview first, because we are integrated fan tokens, NFTs, and we also integrated the liquidity module, which is basically the GravityDEX within BitSung for internal user, right? So we're not going into any competition with GravityDEX. We are just integrated it for for internal use, so fan tokens, NFTs versus BTSG internally, all right? So by building all these features and integrating all these modules, IBC is fundamental for the work of all of them. I mean, a fan token, an NFT with IBC can be sent out of BitSung, all right? So it can be exploited on other marketplaces present on Cosmos, all right? So I think IBC is the main thing that we have within BitSung. From one side, fan tokens and NFT will allow the artist to create their own economy within BitSung and within Cosmos, basically, because as I said, with IBC they will be able to exit the BitSung environment and to exploit the other marketplaces within Cosmos. And yeah, this is basically the use we're going to give to IBC. This is why it's so important for us. Of course, it allowed us to, let's say, to get on Osmosis and to get on Emeris and all the other markets present on the Cosmos environment right now. It's very important because our token is having two versions, all right? So we have the native token, the BTSG, present on the BitSung mainnet, which is around 94-95% of the total supply, but we still have a 5% of the supply on Ethereum, so as an ERC20 version. We're looking forward in the very next feature to migrate everything into the native version, and we are working with another, let's say, main actor on Cosmos to build a bridge for one-way bridge, and this way to, let's say, to kill the RC20 version of the BTSG. Yeah, news will come soon regarding that.
Okay. One last question. Bitsong was born as platform directed to creators. I would like to understand what is the offer you are providing to creators right now? What is your vision of the upcoming features you want to provide? And if you have any collaboration you want to mention or any partnership, because I know that there are a lot of solutions that are being built for creators. So I would like to understand why in your opinion, Bitsong differ from any other one.
All right. So basically, let's start from the beginning. We are trying right now at this moment of at this phase of the project, we are trying to introduce DeFi within the music industry, right? So we are not basically an ecosystem that goes to compete with other, let's say, main actors of the music industry, but we are here to empower the music industry, right? Everyone, what people need to understand is that everyone is going to be able to exploit Bitsong features, right? So from record labels to digital distributors, from artists and to other ecosystem, traditional ecosystem in the music industry, all right? So what we are trying to do in this moment is introducing DeFi within music industry, so allow, let's say, in this stage, right now, allow the artists to create their own economies within the Cosmos environment, all right? If we have to talk about the streaming, because people, when hear about Bitsong, I don't know why they, at the same moment, they imagine like a streaming portal, all right? Because, yeah, the main idea in 2016 was that, all right? So people imagine we will have streaming, yeah, people will dance. Yeah, that's true, but that's scheduled for Q2 of 2022, because when you have to deal with royalties and to traditional music environment, it's more complicated to from a royalties and from a legal point of view. So for that, we are working to a new streaming protocol with some, let's say, big actors of the traditional music industry, such as digital distributors and very well-known record labels, to actually create a new streaming protocol, all right? So streaming is coming, but next year, all right? We're focusing now in creating the artist economy. So basically what we're going to offer them right now is full support with blockchain, full support with investments in their projects, full support with blockchain community that we have and Cosmos has, full support with tokenomics, full support with the creation of the strategies they have to adopt in order to obtain the maximum from the artworks they are creating. And yeah, this is basically what we're doing right now. We are starting with 25 artists, well-known artists, internationally well-known artists, as let's say, as a pilot, all right? Because we're going to launch the testnet for all of these modules that I told you before in a couple of weeks, 1 week, a couple of weeks. We're going to test all of this for another couple of weeks, and by December, before the end of the year, we should be able to launch this in mainnet, right? So they are already able to start the pilot program, let's say. And yeah, this is basically what we're offering them. This is basically what we're trying to do in the beginning, and at the time that those 25 artists will represent a real use case of Bitsong, the first real use case, we strongly believe that this will expand worldwide, and they will be our spread the word.
Thank you so much, Julian. It was really insightful because Bitsong changed over time. So I think that people needed an update directly from the team about like what is changing, what are the new goal and the new expectation we should have. So thank you so much again for being with us, and thank you so much. Hey, we are here with the persistent team in Lisbon for the HackAtom VI. Amite, please introduce us a little bit more about persistent, what the team is doing right now, because I know there are a lot of news, and I mean, I attended to Cosmoverse. I'm kind of excited, so I would like to know from you what we should expect in this upcoming month from the persistent team?
Absolutely. So I'm Abhitesh Singh, and I lead the strategy and marketing at Persistence. At Persistence, what we are trying to do is create a multi-chain protocol which has multiple applications sitting at the application layer, and these applications will be sitting on multiple chains such as Cosmos, Ethereum, and eventually, expanding it to Solana, Polkadot. And the incentivization or like fee sharing model from all these different applications sort of come down to the native token holders, XPRT. So currently we have, with each application, we are trying to bring a new asset class. For example, with P-Stake, we have brought liquid staking, which is all proof of stake assets and their staking derivatives. And with Asset Mantle, we are bringing all different NFTs together. So creating a create economy, and this is more like a Shopify for NFTs. So a framework where you will have a marketplace, but with that, you can also launch your own marketplaces, and each marketplace can be a very specific use case. And we also have projects building into persistence ecosystem. One of them is Comdex, which is bringing synthetic assets for commodities and eventually like multiple other synthetic assets. So this is all in all like what is happening with like persistence ecosystem and what you're trying to do for Cosmos ecosystem. So for example, we launched staking derivatives for Cosmos. We are launching NFTs for Cosmos and now synthetics in Cosmos. And eventually we want to do more and more of use cases for Cosmos ecosystem and for more of like interchain world. So just to give an update on what has happened and what's coming up. So we have already launched liquid staking for Atom. We have already launched liquid staking for XPRT, which is Persistence native token. We plan to launch staking derivatives for multiple other Tendermint-based chains such as Akash, Injective, Band, Luna. And then currently P-Stake is Ethereum based, and you can go out and provide like liquidity or use your staking derivatives into Ethereum applications such as Sushi, and we are working on creating more use cases such as inclusion in Curve, Rari, or Alpha Hamora, or create more and more use cases. Why I choose Ethereum was because when we started, there was no application in Cosmos ecosystem. There was no Emrys, there was no Osmosis, no Swift chain. And that was our approach to say, okay, then people need to have more use cases for their STK assets or in general like their Cosmos assets. And now that we see like Osmosis blew up in terms of proportion, volumes, use cases. So what we are also working parallelly is on a native implementation into Cosmos ecosystem. So P-Stake will be soon implemented in Cosmos ecosystem, and that will allow people to eliminate like high gas fees. And then we plan to use these assets, or people will be able to stake and use these assets in Osmosis and Swift Chain or Emrys, and Umi, for example, it's launching. And so they will not have to make this difficult choice between staking or liquidity provisioning or participating in DeFi when they can do both. We also announced today, I think so this would be the first platform where we are making this announcement, but we've also announced Asset Mantle. As I said, it's a Shopify for NFTs. So how we are phasing out Asset Mantle is currently we are launching a testnet for more of like Asset Mantle chain where people can run validators today or experiment with the underlying framework, which is in a very like nascent stage on a public testnet right now. But we will, as like more and more development keeps on pushing on it, we will like eventually launch the mainnet for the chain. And we are also launching the application basically built on top of Asset Mantle, which will be Asset Mantle Marketplace. It will be an interchain marketplace which will allow people to bring the NFTs from multiple chains and currently also like mint assets on top of like Asset Mantle. So practically it will be the first Cosmos NFT marketplace which will be interoperable with other chains through like right now like a native IBC NFT implementation, but we are trying to work with other projects such as Stargaze and Iris and Region, IXO to come around like a standard for NFTs, because each of these projects currently use a different NFT standard. For example, Stargaze uses Custom Wasm 721. IXO has its own native implementation. Iris uses sort of like a different variation of the native Cosmos implementation. So it's like to bring those all projects together and say, okay, how do all these different NFT projects work together to have like this interoperability between each other. As for Comdex goes, they're launching their testnet has been live for a while now. They're launching their mainnet later this month. So quite excitingly, a lot of people will be able to take their Atom, XPRT, or AKT or multiple other assets through IBC and take positions on commodity synthetics, which would be very exciting because commodities, if you look at they have been a pain point in terms of accessibility to the global audience. Because you have to be an accredited investor in certain countries to invest in commodities, or certain commodities are not accessible throughout like permissionlessly on internet. And what Comdex is doing is bringing all of that to the broader like crypto community, starting with Cosmos. So yeah, we're super excited for all these projects, and I think the more and more projects are building in Cosmos, more and more projects want to adopt what you're trying to do with persistence. And how we see persistence is like this enabler for the overall Cosmos ecosystem, where multiple applications will, or multiple networks will be able to use p-stake for the to create liquidity for their staked assets. They will be they'll be able to use our validator arm Audit One to bootstrap their network, or use Comdex as the first use case for their assets, and issue like exclusive NFTs on Asset Mantle. So I think so. It's a great start of like what we have been building for a couple of years. So yeah.
So one thing about HackAtom seems to HackAtom in general, because your team, Persistent, we've led Cosmos India for a really long time, and you really built a lot of great initiatives, and that included at the time an hackathon. So I would like to hear a little bit more about your experience as hackathon organizer, and a couple of suggestions for hackers, because not most, but it's really probable with this high number of registration, now more than 1,300 registrants, we have new hackers. So what you would like to tell them as first approach with hackathon?
I think the HackAtom in general has been like a beautiful experience for most of like Cosmos community members or builders. A lot of the, people that we see today, like Josh, Sunny, myself, we have actually built like our Cosmos journey through HackAtoms, or gotten introduced into ecosystem around HackAtom. And I heard Billy also talk about it. It's a lot about showing up. When you show up, you meet people, you meet judges, you like those are already builders in Cosmos ecosystem. You get a chance to sort of explore in depth of like what all technology is out there, how it can be done better, and then you start to connect with individuals. And so maybe HackAtom could be just the start of your exploration into like not just Cosmos but the broader crypto ecosystem, and you can see of like how do you enable use cases. Yeah, and I think so Cosmos India has been a beautiful experience. We plan to like relaunch a lot of initiatives that got suppressed through COVID wave, because Cosmos India was hugely in-person presence, but we're trying to bring those back, those initiatives, as things get better. But for new hackers, I think so if you look at Cosmos, it's been like for last couple of years, it's been like a lot more like putting puzzles together, right? So IBC was one part of the puzzle, and then you want like Osmosis, another part of the puzzle. And we're getting interchain accounts, another part, shared security. So like a lot of these pieces are falling in place and forming this entire beautiful picture. And HackAtom 6 in particular comes in a very beautiful time when Osmosis is doing great. You already have liquid staking in Cosmos ecosystem. You have Asset Mantle now for NFT integrations. You have like demonstrations of interchain accounts. You have Gravity Bridge, which is like a part of like the fork that is already functional and doing transactions through Simulator. So like some people can use Simulator's Gravity Bridge fork or Altia's implementation itself. So I think so. It's for hackers, I would say they can pick one particular problem they want to solve and then see how do they create more use cases on top of it, right? So it could be as simple as, say, incentivization, like community incentivizations, or creating like a interchain DAO. And then this interchain DAO could have like incentivization on Osmosis. It could have like creators could be incentivized across Ethereum as well, and not just in Cosmos. Or use IBC to say bring pools like sort of regular to governance proposals back into this interchain DAO. So a lot can be done, and another one, I think so. Use case have been talking a lot about it, and Billy also talked about it, or Josh, is about creating like a validator metrics evaluation. Now you have the graph as well, so I think so people can reach out to Figment team, so like to say how do you do indexing for multiple different chains, or like a lot of people can create actually subgraph in this hackathon, and like start to see how they can use that subgraphs to create like a useful metrics or data metrics on top of like the whole IBC world, and visualization can be done. Good examples in past hackatoms have been, or hackathons around Cosmos has been map of zones, for example. Osmosis is a great example of product coming off HackAtom. So it's like right now you have a wild world out there, especially with Cosmos, and people should leverage all these technologies out. And a lot of it is about reaching out to teams. Every team in Cosmos is very open in supporting, helping out. So at least I can speak it from Persistence perspective. If any developer is trying to create any solution that they would need help with, we are more than happy to like come out and support those people. Also, it's like if you have an idea and maybe you did not win a award in HackAtom, but I think so you should not stop your journey with HackAtom, and not get discouraged if you did not win something. If you have a conviction on your idea, reach out to us. We are happy to support. And maybe it was with anything, right? Creating liquidity, whether it's like supporting your chain, or like through validators, or it's like supporting like grants, or it is about security audits, right? So anything that we can help with, we would love to do that.